を滅ぼしてほしいんですよ。
お客様に私は
かわいそうだ。
デイバ、あんたによ
シンギュラリティ計画を遂行する。
Out of all the anime I've seen this season, Vivy for sure has been the most beautiful anime I've seen. And if one of the reasons why Wit Studio declined doing the final season of Attack on Titan to work on Vivy, then it was totally worth it. But who truly knows? What I do know is that Vivy has been an astounding rollercoaster of emotions week by week, and literally every time I watch a new episode, it goes by in a blink of a second to me. This is all thanks to Umehara Eiji and Nagatsuki Tappei for putting their beautiful minds together for the creation of this wonderful story of drama, action, mystery solving, time travel, and finding the meaning of your true purpose. Now that final one I listed off, I really want to delve further into it. Having Vivy's prime mission to pour her heart into her singing, this abstract concept tests Vivy at her absolute limits. How can an AI that's never experienced any emotions whatsoever figure out how to pour her heart into her singing? This very idea gets explored hand in hand with the Singularity Project. Each arc throughout the anime is an incredibly crafted story dealing with almost every type of scenario that could happen in an AI-filled world. Then, with the end of every one of these arcs, it teaches Vivy more and more about human and AI itself, helping her get closer to the answer of her main purpose, and it's told in such a beautiful and elegant manner that I had to make a video going arc by arc analyzing everything I can get out of them. So, starting off the very first mission, Vivy has to save the assemblyman Aikara Yoji in order to make sure that the AI naming law doesn't get passed. Now, I want to go on a little tangent here, but this law is really fascinating, and it brings the question of, do these AIs really deserve human rights? Sure, when the law was first conceived, the answer is much more black and white. But how about when we're 60 years into the future and every AI around us looks and acts just like us? We now go into this gray area where AIs are at least equal to us, if not better than us. And this all comes back full circle relating back to the AI uprising. So I see you, Nagatsuki, you brilliant man you. Anyway, getting back on track, this first mission was the start of showing us this new side of Vivy that we would never expect an AI to have. And in episode 2, it had one of the best quotes. It doesn't matter how long we operate, it's how we continue to operate. This quote is literally what people say about how to enjoy life, and having Vivy, an AI robot, saying the same thing proves to us that she's starting to understand the meaning of life. Not only that, but it was the start of Vivy coming to the conclusion that in order to make people happy with her singing, she has to make sure that everyone in the future is saved from the AI war. However, the most important thing that Vivy learned from this entire arc is the loss of someone she was close to, and because of it, it was the first step for her to get in touch with her emotions. Moving on to the next arc, our goal is to prevent the sunrise from crashing into the earth and clear Estella's name of being the worst defective AI in history. This arc was honestly quite a good mystery at the beginning, and the reveal of Elizabeth was a great explanation for all of it. But what I love about this arc is that both Estella and Elizabeth taught Vivy the importance of having a real connection between someone. If Vivy fully adapts what she learns from these two with her audience, then she's going to have a way better emotional connection to each and every one of them. Another thing that's really important to point out is that Estella always kept a caring tone in every scenario to make sure that everyone was nice and calm. Even to the very end, she and Elizabeth fulfilled their mission with the well-being of everyone in mind. This not only gives Vivy a standard she should strive for, but it's these types of concepts as well that will help her become a better idol in general. Now, this is the last thing I found really fascinating, and that is Estella's singing. Her singing is nice, but what I found interesting is that she uses her singing to comfort people. It gives us the feeling of warmth, comfort, and most importantly, love. If Vivy could take a page from Estella, she would be one step closer to her mission of pouring her heart into her singing. The next mission on the list is to shut down the metal float. This arc is my absolute favorite out of all of them so far. Everything about this arc was perfect to me, and my god is there so much to talk about this arc. First of all, the very concept of Professor Saiki being in a marriage with Grace brings up all sorts of questions. But the most important one is, do AIs now have the capability to love? This then transitions to the moment in episode 6 where Grace is singing the song that she has memories tied with Saiki. This puts us all in a predicament where we have to decide, is she really singing the song because she loves Saiki and wants to be saved, or is she even singing at all? Vivy's decision to say that Grace isn't singing and that it's just tone data, that got me right in the feels. But at the end of it, it was the right decision. Even though Vivy didn't want it to come to this, she had to put Grace out of her misery and continue with the Singularity project. These sacrifices and choices she had to make were making her seem more and more human. However, the biggest shock that Vivy wasn't expecting was for Saiki to commit suicide right in front of her. This scene is absolutely genius. From the symbolic imagery of having Vivy's hands covered in both human and AI blood, the incredible voice acting, and the well-executed cinematography. Her internal struggle of seeming like she failed her mission makes her question everything now. How come I couldn't execute my mission? Why couldn't I save this man? If I can't save this man, how am I going to save all of humanity? Where did I go wrong? Ending an arc like that is how you make sure you keep people in watching your show. I cannot praise it enough. With this next arc, I'm not going to lie, it doesn't add too much with the progression of Vivy finding the answer of how to pour her heart into her singing. And don't take this the wrong way, this arc is still fantastic. It definitely adds more complexity to the AIs once again. But with Vivy, we are basically at the same point with the previous arc. So I'm just going to go to the final arc of the anime, and as me writing the script right now, the final episode has yet to be released. But from what we've seen so far, it has been spectacular. With the meeting of Matsumoto and his family, it was the final piece for Vivy to finally understand the true beauty of life and being human. Because of this, she became the first ever AI to truly make a song out of her own free will. Everything seemed great, until the AI war started to happen yet again. This was so frustrating. We did everything right to try to correct the timeline, and yet it still happened. How could this be? And I gotta say, the explanation they gave us makes a lot of sense. As the AIs evolved at a much more exponential rate than us, the archive saw that no matter what happens in the timeline, it would all come to the same conclusion, that we're obsolete. And if the archive wanted to continue to serve its purpose to advance the human race, the only solution left is for the AIs to take over and be the only ones left to become a new race. However, with the final episode coming out soon, we have one final shot to stop all of this. And if Vivy applies everything she has accumulated throughout these 100 years about life and emotions, then I have no doubt that she will finally be able to pour her heart into her singing.